Hi guys, it's me. This is episode number 3, or video number 3 of my educational series. I thought this video would take a lot longer than it actually is. I did one take before this one, and it looks like it might be 20 minutes or 15 minutes hopefully. And I thought it was going to be like as long as like 45. Statistically, it was going. My estimate was 45 minutes, for God's sakes. Okay, but let's dive into it. I'm going to go over through the media coverage mostly. So the sections that are covered here are 7 through 10, and that's a pretty good chunk, I guess. Number 7, what's the hype? 8, not for human consumption, question mark. 9, treat Lady Salvia with respect. Salvia is not a recreational drug. 10, entheogenic, definition and public opinion. Section number 7, what's the hype? Okay. Salvia Divinorum is famous for its short but very intense highs or trips. It is particularly famous around college students and also teenagers. It also attracts attention to law enforcement, psychopharmacologists, and Enthobotanist for its very unique chemical compound. By the way, Salvia B is active. It's it's more potent than SA. How much I don't know, but that's one correction I'm going to make about my my previous episode. Some college students find Salvia Divinorum as a party or a recreational drug, while other college students find Salvia Divinorum as a spiritual tool for introspection or wanting to broaden their perception of the world and feel connected with the natural earth, like myself. I'm one of those college students. By the way, finals are over with. 6 finals. Long, intense, very stressful, but I'm all done with that now. I'm sorry, that was a big distraction, but college students are less likely to be harmed while tripping off of the substance because they will more than likely have sitters who keep an eye on them so they don't grab a knife, start running after you, claiming that the Salvia elf is trying to invade your body through your mouth, so they come at you running like a maniac, trying to stab your mouth to death. Or something crazy like that. A side note about the Salvia elf. The elves, known as machine elves, also known as fractal elves, self-transforming machine elves, is a term coined by the late ethnobotanist, writer, and philosopher Terence McKenna to describe the apparent entities described as elves that have been reported by users of the psychedelic DMT. Teens find Salvia Divinorum primarily as a recreational drug. Teens do not really know the importance of being responsible, and let's face it, teenagers, high school students, are still pretty immature. There are some exceptions, of course, but for the most part, teenagers think it's not important to be responsible, so they think it's okay to abuse this drug, Salvia. They usually do not take the proper precautions, and they usually have a higher chance of being hurt or being a danger to other people, and potentially going to the extreme on committing suicide, like a teenager from Delaware, and he committed suicide by going in a closed tent and lighting a barbecue in a closed tent. So he died of carbon monoxide poisoning. It's kind of sad. And I'm not trying to be hard on him, but thanks to people like him, and this guy was barely 18. Thanks to people like him, Salvia Divinorum will probably be federally banned because of some teenager who didn't take the proper precautions he should have. That is why the state of California, Salvia Divinorum cannot be sold to minors under the age of 18, and that's very smart. While in the state of Delaware, under the Brett's Law statute, Salvia Divinorum is a Scheduled I drug. It's a state law that forbids the use of Salvia Divinorum, period. And that's called Brett's Law. The YouTube videos are not helping the fact as well. The videos are blinding the fact that Salvia Divinorum is indeed a very valuable and a very safe substance when used with the correct precautions. You need those precautions. I'm telling you that. It's important to have precautions because you don't want to end up like Brett over there. You know, he's rest in peace. By the way, talking about laws of the use of salvia, the DEA, which is the drug wow, the DEA, I'm just gonna say that, is fully aware of Salvia Divinorum, and thanks to a guy named Daniel Siebert, the scheduling of the drug on a federal level is being considered on a very, very level playing field. Daniel Siebert claims that he was informed on July 20th of 2007 that the DEA had initiated an 8-factor analysis of Salvia Divinorum. The Controlled Substance Act requires that the analysis be performed before a substance can be scheduled as a controlled substance. The 8 factors here that are considered are 1. Actual and potential for abuse. 2. The pharmacology. 3. Other current scientific knowledge. 4. The history and current pattern of abuse. 1, 2, 3. 5. Scope, duration, and the significance of abuse. 7. Public health, the public health risk, and also the number 6, public health risk. 7, psychic or psychological dependence liability. And Number 8, if an immediate precursor of a controlled substance. Based on the results of the analysis, the DEA may recommend that Salvia Divinorum be scheduled as a controlled substance. This analysis will probably take several months to be completed. Siebert said, given that there is no compelling evidence to suggest that Salvia Divinorum presents a significant risk to public safety, I'm hopeful that the DEA will be reasonable and not criminalize this beneficial plant unnecessarily. If they do decide to criminalize it, it will take less than it will take a minimum of 30 days after they give a public notice of their intentions in the Federal Register before the change of the legal status takes effect, which I think is pretty fair. So, what's the hype for this for Salvia Divinorum? Well, there are legal aspects. There's also the unique chemical compound, which I talked about in my last video, and the very unique properties of salvia, and as in the effects, and also the usage of it. You know, because there are a lot of ways how to use it. You could chew it, you could smoke it. I don't think you could inject it. Okay, the next part is going to cover both. Number 8, not for human consumption, and 9, treat Lady Salvia with respect. Salvia is not a recreational drug. About the statement about the YouTube videos of fairly known ethnobotanist and pharmacologist Daniel Siebert, which I talked about. He has been doing research on Salvia Divinorum probably since the 70s, and he experimented with it in the 90s, and he's a very smart guy. I've not talked to him before, but I'd love to. He was quoted, Daniel Siebert was quoted saying, those videos are certainly not going to help the situation. They make salvia look like some horrible drug that makes people nuts and dangerous. And the sad thing is it creates this public image where people do not realize there are sensible ways to use something like this. It's called an entheogen. I'll get into that in just a minute or two, or 5. And that is one other reason why Salvia Divinorum is going to be either outlawed or scheduled. One rotten apple spoils the bunch. That's a slogan that I love to use, and I have used for this subject. One thing that the 60s crowd and the modern YouTube community is that they both are ruining the reputation of responsibility with proper drug use. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about LSD and other synthetic drugs. I'm talking about natural herbs like yobo, Christmas vine, Hawaiian wood rose, morning glories, Bolivian and Peruvian torch cactus, peyote, all of this stuff. That's been around for thousands and thousands of years. With the gathered information that I have garnered that has to do with natural occurring plants, psychedelic plants, including personal experience with salvia and salvia only. Natural occurring psychedelics should be used as an entheogen and not a recreational drug. So, not for human consumption. As a recreational drug, no. As a meditation technique and a introspection tool, yes. As a party drug, no. As an entheogen, yes. Now here's the part that everyone has been waiting for. What's an entheogen, Robert? Section 10. Entheogen, the definition and public opinion. And the definition, and entheogen means generating the divine within. And entheogen is a psychoactive substance used in religious, shamanic, or spiritual context. Entheogens can supplement many diverse practices for healing, transcendence, and revelation, including meditation, psychonautics like astronaut, psychonaut, art projects, psychedelic therapy, and yes, there is psychedelic therapy. They actually used LSD before it got outlawed as a psychedelic therapy tool. And entheogens have been used in a ritualized context for thousands of years. So it does have some historical value to it as well. People from the 60s with their carefree mentalities and their free recreational drug use has had a very large impact with the opinion of the usage of an entheogen today. Back 50 years ago has effect today, which is kind of sad, in my opinion. People don't make a difference between an entheogen and a recreational drug. It's the same thing to them, and that's really sad. And I'll make a comparison here. Westboro Church, for instance. If you've not heard of them, they are a radical, fundamentalist, extremist group who thinks they are better Christians and that they are like godsends and that they are going to save the whole world. I am not saying that they are wrong because it is their opinion. I respect that they have an opinion, but on the same page, they are taking extreme measures that make Christianity as a whole look like a hate group. While they make every church look bad. So while every church is not like them, and the other churches don't do what they do, they are still impacted by Westboro Church. So this comparison is pretty simple. Drug users and recreational drug users make people who use entheogens look bad, like how Westboro Church makes other Christians look bad. And I do hope that makes sense. Well, that is the end of this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the next episode, which I will start talking about the effects of salvia. And this is a pretty interesting part, I think. The sections I will cover are numbers 11 through 16. That 6 is a lot, I know. Number 11, discussing the effects. 12, unique effects. 13, immediate effects. 14, long-term effects, question mark. 15, this is cool, Salvia's universal laws of gravity. That is the spin-off of Newton's laws of gravity, and one of the trademark effects of this substance is the gravitational force is completely thrown off balance. Number 16, different highs. And there's a lot to talk about here with the effects, and it's really cool. I think you guys will like it, because I do. Last words. Well, if you are considering using Salvia, do not use it before you see my educational series, but also do your own research as well. Very important. I do not condone the use of Salvia Divinorum, but if you do use it, I will not claim any responsibility for what might happen to you. I want to educate you, and I want to make you aware of this substance, and I want you to be safe and responsible. I want the community to be aware of the sacred plant, so please refer people to this series, and please subscribe to my channel. I would highly appreciate that. Respect the plant, and the plant will respect you. Have a nice night.